Welcome to Live Rostrum News Agency. Making news, breaking news, addressing the paradigms of all issues, national and international, in a radically different to the conventional way. We lean directly on citizens of the world for our news source. This is disseminated on almost real time to the mass media of the world.
Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. Viewers, welcome to the live Rostrum show, a platform where we are making news and we are breaking news. We will bring before you the guests who are prominent enough, who have achieved excellence in their own fields, who are well versed with the problems of this nation in isolation as well as linked with other nations. So in order to cover the national and the international issues that are jointly affecting our country, our community, and we will present to you in an unconventional manner the description of the problems and their probable solutions. In this regard, we've had other platforms like Think and held seminars on those, on various national issues, including the economic reforms, judicial reforms, and education reforms. So therefore, in continuation of that, this is a new platform where we will bring, as I said, the guests or the people of prominence. A brief background to this. Today we have the first guest who is the spirit behind the entire idea. He forms part of that intellectual group of the society who continue to contribute silently and openly his views and the probable solutions addressed to the concerned agencies. A person who is very wide in spectrum of education, exposure, business, and possesses a very strong observation on these issues. This gentleman is none other than Mirza Agha Shahnawaz. So welcome to our show. And when we start our show with a brief introduction, I would rather like to have your ideas on the fields that you have worked with and your total assessment of the issues that we are confronted with today.
Well, thank you for inviting me to Abid at Live Rostrum. It would be very pertinent for me to respond to whatever you have just very kindly said about an introduction. Being, for my livelihood, a businessman, I have engaged in a bit of research because of an academic exposure, and consequently the outcome was the writing of 4 books, a thesis, and numerous other contributions to the print media over a period of nearly 4 decades. What motivates me to do this is probably a desire to see a better environment in which we all live and which we expect our children to live in the future. That in itself is a great driving force which can motivate anybody to put pen to paper.
Sir, normally when people start their lives, they have a concept in their mind and a roadmap that they would like to follow. Your life pattern that started with your arrival here after dismemberment of Pakistan in 1971, you took the path for Islamic jurisprudence. You finished that degree for 4 years in Saudi Arabia. Then you get into different kinds of businesses, starting from insurance, then you get into writing your books. And today, mashallah, you're a very successful businessman. You're expert on insurance matters and, you know, asset management companies and so many other businesses which are new to this society. How do you see, was your life planned that way, or you were open to all changes and all kind of diversion or the new steps which may be called dangerous also at times?
There was a passion which as a child, as a small or the young man, there was a passion that I wanted to become a barrister for whatever reason. Although I must admit, I had no clue what a barrister is supposed to be doing, other than being just. But in the course of life, I could never afford it, and I did not have the opportunity to go for it, because when I did come of age, we were subject to civil war, dismemberment of the country, being refugees, being immigrants. So, livelihood, pursuit of livelihood became a priority, and that came as it came with a variety of opportunities that were presented. It was purely accidental that I was located in a place where the opportunity to study Islamic jurisprudence, or for better understanding, the philosophy of lawmaking in Islam, enroll into, which I did, and it took me about 4 years to have an in-depth study of at least one branch of law, more so, more pertinent than what I was initially planning to do as a kid.
When you studied this jurisprudence in Saudi Arabia, and now you compare it with Pakistan. Pakistan is an ideological state where we claim that Islam is our state religion, and all laws that we formulate will be in line with Islamic teachings. Where do you think we stand, or we don't stand anywhere compared to what is the required thing? Our Council of Islamic Ideologies are so many ulama councils and, you know, so many religious parties. Are these in any way parallel to that, or they have nothing to compare with that?
You see, in contemporary history, Pakistan was the first country to have been created on the basis of an ideology. After the demise of empires, the world saw the birth of nation states. And all these nation states that came about were primarily successful, or they failed, or they remain as a market for the developed world, as a captive market for the developed world. Ironically, Pakistan, though we are in our 6th decade of existence, has neither failed nor has progressed. We have stagnated. And the reason is simple, that the basis of our creation was never adhered to. You see, the ideology, or even before the ideology, any state is based on 3 constituents: territory, population, government. Now you've got territory, you've got a population, but when it comes to government, that unfortunately has become a personality-based
regime, or
a personality-based ritual for administering a country. So you've really kicked the ideology out of the window. If the ideology were to be adhered to, then fundamentally there would have been basic land reforms. All land would have belonged to the state. There would be no freehold property. The ownership of the land would be that of the population that existed on it, although they would pay for the usage. And that would make up for the revenue on the basis of which the government would run or finance itself. Here, because this was not done, we have families and family worship. Then, to top that off, came a bureaucracy which could not link your natural resources with your human resources. Consequently, they preferred the route of begging for money. So when you start off in 1947 and you see to date, we are a nation of beggars.
Sir, we will take a little break here, and we will continue with the same point. Viewers, please stay with us. We'll be back soon.